Sport can mean a lot to a country. All it takes is one star to make it, to bring people together and for a sport's popularity to explode. That's why it was big news in China when one of their rising MMA stars took out one of the UFC's biggest hopes. So what does it mean for the future of the MMA in China? And which Chinese fighter is looking to reclaim their title? Plus, which women's champion said she refuses to use her body for easy money by modeling? Don't go anywhere because all of that is coming up next. First up, peaceful rise of China. Not everyone is cut out for the UFC. That's what the organization hopes to find out in their Road to the UFC series. The event is held in Singapore and is designed to help Asian talent get noticed by the biggest MMA competition in the world. But things didn't go according to plan for a Bellator star who is trying to transition into the UFC. Tokkos is a lightweight fighting out of London who has built up a decent record since his professional debut in 2017. He has fought in UC MMA, UFC, and Bellator, having only 2 losses coming into his fight in Singapore. But that record added another loss when he came up against the Chinese fighter Mingyang. Zhang is known as the Mountain Tiger, and against the big favorite Tokkos, he proved just how dangerous he can be. It was towards the end of the first round when Zhang landed a massive overhand right and sent Tokkos straight to the floor. And even worse, the commentators noted that Tokkos was lying there still for a long time. In an Instagram post later, Tokkos sent a message from a hospital bed to his fans that he was sorry for his performance. For Zhang Mingyang, though, it was the biggest win of his career, and despite being the underdog, he said that he never lost faith in himself. After the fight, he said, "I knew I was going to win because I've been preparing for this for a long time. That was just the beginning. I think people are going to get to know me more." Mingyang also said that it was a message to the MMA world that China is more than capable of producing champions who could soon dominate the UFC. Next, Zhang Weili. One Chinese star that is already dominating the UFC is Zhang Weili. She became the first Chinese UFC champion in history when she won the title in 2019 against Jessica Andrade. She delighted Chinese fans to make history in Shenzhen, where the fight was held, and she backed it up the following year at UFC 248 against Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who is a 6-time Muay Thai world champion and former strawweight UFC champion. But since then, Weili's road has been rough. She lost twice to Rose Namajunas, where the first loss came via knockout just over a minute into the fight. Now she is trying to earn another shot at the title, and she's going about it in the right way. She once again faced off against Joanna Jędrzejczyk at UFC 275. The old rivals brawled in the first round and both landing significant strikes. But then in the second round, Weili showed just how special a fighter she was when she landed a spinning back fist and knocked Jędrzejczyk to the floor. In fact, it was such a hard loss that after the fight, Jędrzejczyk announced that she would be retiring from the sport. For Weili, the win helped her maintain her number 2 ranking in the strawweight division and guaranteed her another shot at the belt in the near future against Carla Esparza. Weili is on the warpath to total domination of the division, and just like Zhang Mingyang, she said that it's a good chance for the world to see just how strong Chinese fighters are. With fighters like Zhang Weili and Zhang Mingyang, the future of MMA in China is in safe hands. Coming up, which women's champion refuses to do modeling? And which UFC star was inducted into Boxing's Hall of Fame? So don't go anywhere. Being the champion comes with a lot of perks. You get the upper hand in negotiations and don't always have to respond to your opponents. That's what reigning women's strawweight champion Carla Esparza has reminded Zhang Weili of. When Weili proposed the idea of the two fighting in Abu Dhabi at UFC 281 in October, Esparza had other ideas. She said, "I'm not trying to go on her timeline. I'm the champion, and I feel she needs to go on my timeline." They are yet to face off against one another, and the fight could be one of the biggest in women's UFC history. Esparza has won her last 6 fights in a row and is in the best form of her career, but that form didn't extend to her latest championship championship rematch against Rose Namajunas. Fans thought that the fight was not entertaining at all. And after the fight, UFC President Dana White seemed to agree when he refused to confirm a trilogy fight between the two. And Zhang Weili thought that the fight was a flop too. She said Namajunas wanted to take care of her belt and didn't want to fight hard. Weili is showing herself to be a much more exciting option for the UFC. She is trying to redeem her only 2 losses in her UFC career and get back up on top. Her spinning back fist knockout will go down as a highlight of the year and shows just how diverse her fighting style can be. They both know that they are capable of being champions, and whenever the fight ends up happening, it's guaranteed to be competitive. Next, Juliana Pena. Women's MMA has come a long way since Dana White said that women would never fight in the UFC back in 2011. But since then, Dana has had a change of heart, especially when the global popularity of star Ronda Rousey gave the UFC a boost in viewership. Ronda's time passed a long time ago, and there are a number of tougher fighters who have replaced her. That includes the current bantamweight champion, Juliana Pena, who defeated Amanda Nunes last year to win the belt. Pena says that she has deliberately stayed away from certain modeling and promotional work because of the way that it could affect her image. On the Barstool Chicago's Rebuild Ed podcast, she said, "I've got a daughter and I want to set a great example for her. I don't want her to, years from now, be on Instagram and see her mom being half naked." Pena would rather people focus on her career, her performances, and her hard work, rather than her body, and her record speaks for itself. She only has 4 losses in her entire MMA career and has been fighting with the UFC since 2015. She got her big break when she participated in The Ultimate Fighter, Team Rousey versus Team Tate, where she put in impressive performances to eventually win the final by knockout against Jessica Rakoczy. Last year, she won one of the biggest UFC upsets ever against the defending champion Amanda Nunes. It was a back and forth until Pena got control of Nunes's back in the second round and submitted her. If Pena can defend her title in a rematch against Nunes, she will solidify her place as the champion of the division. Next, a former women's bantamweight champion has made waves with a recent photo released on social media. It was during an awards ceremony where Holly Holm was being inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Fans commented on how shredded she looks as she accepted her award. Most UFC fans will know Holly Holm as a fierce competitor who spectacularly ended Ronda Rousey at UFC 193. But Holm is more than just an MMA fighter. In fact, she has been ranked the second best female boxer of all time. During her reign, she held the world championship in 3 different divisions and defended her title 18 times. But in 2013, she decided to fully commit to MMA after juggling the 2 sports for a number of years. She made it to the top of her division after beating Ronda Rousey, but lost the title the very next night to Miesha Tate. That kicked off a disappointing run of just 4 wins in Holm's last 10 fights. Her latest loss came against Kelton Vieira earlier this year after 4 rounds of trading blows. Holm has said that she dreams of being able to compete in both MMA and boxing at the same time, but based on her record, it doesn't look like a real possibility. Plus, time could be running out for the former champion. The preacher's daughter is now 40 years old and has been competing in combat sports for more than 20 years. Then again, if anyone can come back and get to the top again, it's probably Holly. But she will have to go through even tougher competition than Vieira to do it. Juliana Pena and Amanda Nunes are waiting at numbers 1 and 2 in the bantamweight rankings, ready to take on Holm at any time. Do you think that Holly Holm will ever be a UFC champion again, or has her time passed? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.